Hello, everyone. My guest today is Shai Wokomir. He helps create, share, localize, and track customer-facing videos and GIFs in minutes. The tool is built for support, sales, training, HR, and product teams. It's called Fleek. No camera, product, crew, narrator, hosting needed. We'll jump into it today. Shai, are you ready to take us to the top?
Let's go.
Okay, so tell us what the company does and if you're a pure play SaaS model or not.
Sure. So Flick's very simple in the concept. What we've done is we created a format that lives somewhere between a classic presentation or a PowerPoint deck and a video. We realized that an organization loves to provide rich media communication internally or externally, whether it is for an employee or for a customer. But creating a video is pretty hard. Updating a video is pretty hard. I mean, if it's for support usage, for pre-sales, for employee onboarding, and the like. So think of Flick's a very simple concept. Think of something like you take a screenshot of your dashboard and then you go with your mouse and you say something like, I want to talk about this. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about this. And then you write a sentence or two. Here you can see the password location, et cetera, et cetera. You click on a button and it all turns into something that relates to a video. So it's an HTML format that lives, that drives, that talks with a voice to text or your voiceover. But it's very easy to manage, to update, to share, no hosting, etc. And the beautiful thing about Flick is, given that it's an HTML format, its extendability is enormous, aka tracking is embedded immediately. So you can see where the user is going and what he's doing while he's watching the Flick. Analytics is automatically embedded into your user flow with Google Analytics key, etc., etc. We are a SaaS model based on seats. That's the business model for the product, and that's like in a very high nutshell.
That's great. And just give me a general sense of the customers you're serving. What are they paying per month on average?
So it relates to the size of the team. We do have a sizable number of SMBs and SMEs, meaning that there's small teams like agencies, like we'll talk about the diversity of the market and industry that are using Flick, but you can see very, very small teams of 2-3 creators that we call them in the platform, but we have enterprises as well. And then we can see seats from 50 to 100 to 200. And like, it's very based on the number of the people within the organization, beyond the fact that it's a land and expand strategy where one team might get that product and then it jumps into a technical marketing team, an HR team, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So Shai, just because I know you have tons of cohorts here based off size, but give me an average. What's the average team pay per month, would you say?
So the price per seat is $10.
Yep.
So you would see somewhere between 15 to 22 on the small SMBs, and the big guys pay on an annual base somewhere between 3 to 20K. And again, it's sizable based on the size of the company.
Yep. Which, well, I guess we'll get back to that in a second. Give me more of your background. When did you launch the company? What year?
So it's a pretty funny story, but basically it's the company itself is not about Flick. It was actually an offspring from a whole different product. You can call it a pivot or whatever. But we're a Techstars-based company from 2015. We did San Antonio, the cloud product, the cloud cohort. We did with a company called Elasticode, which did mobile onboarding for mobile native apps. Basically, you would go online, you would create some sort of an experience, and then it would land within your mobile app. But we saw a lot of challenges within that realm. And the main three was that the market was not big enough in the sense of mobile is great, but the number of companies that are willing to optimize their product using a third-party integration within a mobile native app is much smaller than expected. There was no instant gratification in the sense of from the moment you're seeing the product till you're getting value, there's tons of time, and the integration was very long. Thus, we took that technology and we played around with it, and we added voice and it took it to the web. And then we realized after showing it to a couple of people that that's some sort of a video environment experience. And this is how it was launched.
Yeah.
Officially,
Shai,
we
what
haven't
year?
even launched it. Yeah, so it's 2018. This year, it was on January, we set the product to market.
Got it. That's great. So 2018, that's great. Now, where were you before? I mean, did you quit a big corporate job or, where was your head at?
Well, before that, I was in cyber or network security. I worked with Checkpoint, with RSA, with these companies on the research side of things, and then I switched over to a whole different story.
Got it. Okay, very good. And then fast forward to today. So how many seats are on your platform?
So currently, there's a freemium model where more than 10,000 users on the platform itself, more than 25,000 flicks in the air.
Mm-hmm. Well, and give me a sense too, right? So 10,000 free seats, but how many are actually paying?
So we did an AppSumo campaign back at the start of the year. So a lot of the number of customers that joined the platform are on a lifetime deal, a large assessment of
Yeah,
that
let's
portion.
let's not count that because that's essentially one-time revenue unless you can figure out how to change them to a monthly plan, which is difficult because they just bought lifetime value. So let's just focus on monthly paying seats.
Right. So just one point about that. A lot of our AppSumo users are paying not on a monthly base, but we've done an AppSumo store for them, and they're buying in for more value, not subscription based, but we actually done more money from the AppSumo campaign within the platform itself later on as an upsell. So that's leave that for aside, and we're still doing some great revenue there. But on a monthly base from the 2,000 customers that are on the platform, we have more than 100 customers that are paying. And that's only the self-service product. That's beside the number of enterprises that we're seeing on a whole different, like not user base, but on an annual, custom sort of offering that we're doing there. So we have customers.
Shai, sorry, that was a lot of like different kind of things thrown around there, and I'm confused, right? So you sell your basic business is you sell seats at $10 a month. You've got 10,000 people using it to some degree, whether it's a one-time payment on a lifetime thing or they're using it for free or whatnot. How many are paying on a monthly basis on a per seat model across all your logos, whether it's a small business or an enterprise?
120 on the self-service, but on the enterprise, which is a whole different pricing, not per seat. There's tons of value there, like single sign-on, et cetera, et cetera. That's a different pricing. We have 5 enterprises, big enterprises, with a whole different pricing structure.
Okay, so how much, if you had to look at your monthly recurring revenue right now, what would you put it at?
It's not disclosed, but I would say that this year we would get to 180K per year, including the AppSumo.
Why do I get AppSumo people on here all the time and it drives me up the wall. Why would you include AppSumo in recurring revenue? It's not recurring revenue. It's one time
it's not
for life.
No, I said a run rate. Yeah, I said a run rate for 280. I didn't say for a recurring. I didn't say about ARR for 2018. I said that the run rate for 2018 would be about 180K, including the AppSumo.
Yeah, but you don't include one-time payments in a run rate because they're not going to run. Those payments aren't running anywhere. They're dead. They pay once and it's done.
I agree on that.
So, but why do you do that? Because you're just, when you convince yourself of that in your brain, you're just lying to yourself. You know it's not recurring revenue. So why would you put that in your run rate?
No, I totally agree. It's not recurring revenue.
Yeah. By the way, I love where you're at, right? Like I'm not like hitting your business. Everyone has to start somewhere. You found some great ways to use AppSumo to get some cash, right? A lot of money to reinvest. That's like a smart move. It's just now you got to figure out how do you build the recurring stream? And it sounds like you're fairly early, which is fine. I mean, I'd love to know what it sounds like you're maybe at like a couple grand a month right now and you're figuring out how to scale.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay, good. By the way, I think you should own that. Like everyone has to start somewhere, right? So you're at 4 or 5 grand a month right now. Yeah. How do you get more monthly paying seats? How are you going to scale this thing?
Okay, cool. So we're doing a couple of strategies on how to get more users. One of these is that we've done in our former company as well. We're doing small project and putting them on Product Hunt.
Okay.
Like free, like we're calling the marketing strategy, and they're bringing in great traffic that converts. This is one thing. Second, classic cold call. We're looking into we're segmenting via LinkedIn customers within the realm that we know that are attracted to this kind of product, and we're hitting them with a sort of reply.io drip campaigns of cold calls, and we're getting great conversion there on scale. And obviously we're doing some more paid campaign, but on a lower scale at this point.
Okay, what do you have a good idea of kind of what your CAC is right now when you are doing paid acquisition?
Right now it's very hard to assess because there's so many channels. So we don't have the correct number at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what is it around? Pick a channel and tell me what it is on that channel.
So on what we're seeing basically on the reply.io, it's fairly low. It's somewhere between $3 to $5. But on the marketing tech side, it's much lower because we're grabbing technology that we're doing within Flick itself. We're taking it into a sort of to an open source offering. We're putting it on product on. So there's no even value there, just the hosting for $10 a month for that specific site, and that brings in great traffic. So that's
the big cost there is the salary of the person whose time it takes to execute that strategy, right? List it on Product Hunt, put it in the open source environment, manage the Product Hunt replies, manage the Product Hunt leads. What's your team size today?
So we're 4 people, and this is just one of the things that we're doing. So it's fairly incorporated in the weekly work.
Okay, got it. So 4 of you guys are you all based in Israel or are you remote?
Yep.
All Israel. Very good. Okay, good. So based in Israel, and then look, if you're paying $4 or $5 to acquire these guys and a $10 per seat ARPU, I mean, your payback period there is about 1 or 2 months, right? So obviously that math works if you can do that at scale.
Well, yes and no. We're talking about the freemium model where we're getting the subscribed person. The conversion rate right now is close to 8%, meaning that it's not $4 or $5. You X that like 12 times. But the LTV for our customers, because the price is very low and the churn is very low, is more than $200. So it does make sense as well.
So it's more than, so just to be clear, CAC is
50. Yeah.
It's 40, 50 bucks.
Exactly.
Yeah. Your like cost per lead is like 4 or 5. Your CAC is 60. Your payback is 6 months because they pay $10 a month.
Exactly.
And you just said you're pegging your LTV at about $200.
Right. Something like that.
That's great. That's very good. Is churn an issue yet? What's your churn?
So currently it's 0 because we only have 6 months on the run. But given the value of the product and the price itself, we don't see any fallback.
Okay, got it. So no churn. The cohort's not big enough yet to be able to have an accurate measurement of churn. Yeah,
exactly.
Now, are you bootstrapped or have you raised capital?
So we actually raised capital for Elastico, that company. And 18 months back, we got to investors and told them, we have $200K. We're raising $1 million. We have $200K in the bank. We want to focus and build something new. That was Flick. The money was actually dried out 8 months ago, and we're living on customers. So it's fully bootstrapped. But right now we're currently in a round. And it looks very good, and we're probably going to have some news in the next 2 months.
Are those people that put in the initial $1 million in the other company, are they still on your cap table?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
The people that put in that early money, right? And you said they put in $1 million in the old company. Are they still on your cap table at Flick?
Yes. Okay. So this is the same company.
So you've raised essentially $1 million. You're currently raising more capital.
Exactly.
Got it. How you said you had 4 people, you're living off cash flows, you're doing, call it a couple grand a month right now. How are 4 people living off, call it $4,000 a month in revenue?
Well, basically, as mentioned before, this year, specifically given the AppSumo deal, we have much more cash for this year and still going later on till the end of the year.
What you're saying is the money you made from AppSumo is enough to cover salaries through the end of the year. Got it. How did the AppSumo deal do? How much revenue did you bring in and how many customers signed up through that?
So AppSumo was awesome. We've done, so they have the main campaign and then they have their briefcase offering. So all in all, with app sales that we've done from the customers that signed up the AppSumo, we've done more than 130K.
Got it. And that's your cut or that's the total?
That's our cut.
Your cut. Okay, got it. So multiply that times 3 because they typically keep 60-ish, 70% and you get 30-ish, right? Well,
that's including the upsell that we did on our platform. Directly from the campaign and the briefcase, we did something close to 90 to 80. That's 50 more we've done internally with 100%.
I see. So, okay, same question though. Even if you have $100,000 in the bank right now, right? How do you support 4 people on $100,000? Are expenses really low in Israel?
First up, yes. And B, there's 2 more answers to that. We are currently raising more money and we are seeing more cash coming in, even on the firmer note that we raised $1 million. So right now the round actually started with we're seeing money that's coming in from investors currently that we can supply to the team. And we are seeing money from the former product, from the Elasticode product as well, that's coming into the bank. So all in all, it keeps us alive.
Got it. That makes good sense. You're in hustle mode. I love it. Let's wrap up here, Shai, with the famous 5. Number 1, what is your favorite business book?
Wow. I would go the hard things about hard things.
Yep.
I think that's a name.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying right now?
Um, good question. No, not currently.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building the business besides your own?
Pipedrive.
Number four, how many hours? Number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
4 hours, but two of them are basically because I'm getting up because of my two daughters.
Oh, okay. So you're only getting 4 hours of sleep. So you have two daughters total, or do you have more kids?
No, I have two daughters, and I run 80K per week, so I'm getting up a lot of the time early to run.
Like running, exercise.
Running 80K per 80 kilometers per week.
Got it. That's great. And what's your situation? Married, single? Obviously, you have two kiddos.
Separated.
And how old are you?
I'm 42.
42. Okay, last question. What do you wish your 20-year-old self knew?
What? Sorry?
What do you wish that your 20-year-old self knew?
Wow, great question. Don't waste any time.
Guys, don't waste time. There you got it from Shai. Again, helping you build kind of an interactive presentation. He pivoted from an old product into Flick, brought about 200K with him. Now have 4 full-time people in Israel scaling this. They have a couple grand per month right now in revenue. They just launched it in 2018, so growth rates obviously we can't calculate yet. They're currently raising additional capital, have about 10,000 free users on the platform. Those are kind of logos and seats. Again, it's too early for things like churn. When they do paid experiments, they're paying about $60 to acquire a customer with a 6-month payback, and Shai's assuming a $200 lifetime value. Shai, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you very much.